What's going on, guys, and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to cover the final version of my Shockwave Totem build, and at this point I have pretty much min-maxed it aside from a few things. This build can handle all content currently in the game. I have killed all the pinnacle bosses and completed the Simulacrum. Currently with my shield setup for mapping, we're doing around 50k DPS per totem, and with the dual wield setup we're doing around 75k per totem. With a bit more min-maxing, we could most likely push around, I want to say 85 to 90k DPS per totem, but this is as far as I wanted to push it. As is, we do plenty of damage. We have also incorporated a companion, further pushing the DPS. This is a great all-around build. It has good damage and survivability, while not being super expensive to make. In this guide, we will cover everything from start to finish, and timestamps will be down below, so feel free to jump ahead at any time. At the end of the video, there will be gameplay, so be sure to stick around and check that out if you want to see the build in action. Anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, first we'll go ahead and jump into the skills used in the build. Right here we have Shockwave Totem. Obviously this is going to be our bread and butter. Right now he's showing 40k DPS with the tooltip with our shield set up. With our buffs we're doing almost 49k, so close to 50k. If we switch out the shield for our other two-hander, putting us at level 40 for the Shockwave Totem, which is the maximum. With our buffs up, we're doing almost 75k damage. Now you will see, we have a cost of 862 on the life to cast it, and we do have a high regen. If you look, we have 547 regen in total. Now if I put the shield back, it does bring our cost down to 466 in total, and then we'll see our regen right here at 602. We do use blood magic, so we definitely want to compensate and have good regen. I'd say at least over like 500. Next up we have shield charge right here. Basically we just use this to get around quicker, like in the maps, so we can just shield charge around and get through the maps quicker. Right here we have leap slam. The only reason we have leap slam is, say if there's like a gap, we can use it to leap over. And then right here in shield charge we do have rage, so that we gain rage when we hit enemies, giving us a little bit more damage. And then we have holy descent, so we get more regen when we land from leap slam. And then right here we have time of need. Basically this is going to give us life every 10 seconds and remove curses and elemental ailments. In time of need we have vitality, fast forward, and herbalism. This is giving us more out of our life flask, and this also gives us more regen. Now next up we have our companion. I went with the dire tusk boar. There are a lot of videos out there on how you can get your companions. If you look right here, this one gives me haste aura, which basically gives us more attack speed and movement speed for our totems and ourselves. And also this one breaks armor, which is nice. Lowers the enemy's armor, making it to where we do more damage to them. You can get a beast with the haste aura and that shocks on hit, which would be a little bit more damage technically, but I got this one and I didn't want to keep farming over and over for a long period of time. I didn't find the one with shock and haste. If I would have taken a little bit more time, I'm sure I could have. Right here I have last gasp. Basically, your minion will die, or should I say your companion will die, but this right here, minions from supported skills die 4 seconds after their life is reduced to 0. So by the time your minion dies, he comes back almost immediately, like a couple seconds afterwards. Having this, it's pretty much up at all times. Right here we have meat shield, making him more tanky, elemental army for tankiness, and then cooling strike. This works against rares and uniques. Like with this boar, it's constantly charging enemies really quickly, and once they get to 10% life or whatever it is for their threshold on rare or unique enemies, they automatically die when they're hit by your companion. Alright, now we'll go ahead and jump into the gear used on the build. Really quickly, you will see we have 55% block, 57% armor, maxed out on our resistances to the 75%. We have 1 over on the fire because of our shield. And then we do have maximum chaos resistance this time around. We have 600 regen with the shield and 547 without. Now when it comes to the block chance, we can get that up to 75%, like on my jewels if I got 7% on a couple of them. And then currently we're level 92. With a couple more levels we can get more block chance on the tree, so we could get that up definitely over 70, maybe even to 75% with a couple more levels, making it even more tanky. But even like this, it feels good already. Now really quickly before we get into the gear, in order to run the companion I did need more spirit to run everything else that I wanted to run. So on our chest this time around we do have spirit, which we'll get into that when we go onto the chest. Starting off on the weapon, you definitely want to get a +7 two-hander. We do use Giant's Blood in the passive tree, making it to where we can dual wield two-handed weapons. You want to try to go with a low strength two-handed weapon because strength requirements get tripled because of Giant's Blood. So try to find the lowest strength that you possibly can. And then in the sockets, we're going to put the increased skill speed. Now, if you can get a mace that's got +7 with low strength and it's corrupted with 3 sockets, that'd be even better because you can get 24% increased skill speed, which would be nice. I mean, if we had 3 sockets on both of our two-handers, that'd be another 16% skill speed, further boosting the DPS quite a bit. The only stat that matters on your two-handed mace, by the way, is just the plus to level of melee skills. I mean, strength would be nice because that'll obviously boost your strength up. But as far as damage for your totems, the only way that they're going to benefit is with the plus to skills. So don't worry about any of the other stats. Really quickly, we'll go into the shield now. I use the shield pretty much 99% of the time. I only use the second mace when I'm fighting pinnacle bosses if I need it. I mean, technically, I don't even have to have this to kill the pinnacle bosses, but they do drop a little bit quicker. Now, with my current setup and all the pluses that I have to melee skills and all the places, I only need a +6 for my second two-hander in order to hit the level 40, which level 40 for Shockwave Totem is the maximum that you can go. Now, on the shield, you want to try to get as high block chance as you possibly can. You know, get life, whatever resistances you need, but make sure to get that high block chance because we want to get our block up as much as possible. As for the helmet right here, try to go as high armor as you possibly can. Life, the resistances that you need, try to get life regen anywhere that you possibly can. Into the armor, same thing, try to get that chaos resistance anywhere you can. You want to get, I think, around at least like 30 spirit or like 25 spirit with this setup that I have. Also make sure with the armor that you go with the ornate plate, because you get the implicit right there of up to 2.5% life regen per second, which is nice and goes along with our build really well. For the amulet, you want to try to get the +3 to all melee skills right here. Get resistances, life, you know, armor, whatever else you can get. Intelligence, we do need a little intelligence, and we also need dexterity with our build now as well in order to run our companion. And then you're going to want to go ahead and allocate Lay Siege right there. That's going to be the most damage. For every 1% block chance, we get 1% damage to our totems. As for the rings down here, on both of your rings, you want to get physical damage to attacks. That goes directly to the totems, and that's a nice damage boost for them. You want to try to get dexterity and strength on your rings, if possible. Get whatever resistances you need, and get maximum life on your rings. Into the gloves, this is another important part of the build. You want to also get the physical damage to attacks, life. You can get +2 to level of all melee skills right here in your gloves, and attack speed. And that's going to be the most damage. That's a nice DPS boost overall for the totems. And then if you're able to get, you know, resistances or whatever you can on your gloves, right here in the belt, just get your chaos res, whatever other resistances you need. You can get life regeneration on here. Get as much life as you possibly can. And I would say to try to get at least, you know, 2 charm slots, maybe even 3 if you can. Into the boots, you want to go with as much movement speed as you possibly can. You can get up to 35%. I have 30. You know, get life, rarity if you can, you know, resistances, and then more life regen right there. For your flask, you want to go with a flask just like this. The increased amount recovered and increased charges gained. Try to get those numbers as high as you possibly can. Right here into the charms, you know, we have this one for immunity to freeze and this one for immunity to bleeding. And then like I talked about a minute ago, we have our second two-hander. I only switch this out, you know, when we're going to fight bosses or whatever. And that puts us at +40. And same with this, you want to get a low strength requirement, get the increased skill speed in the sockets. And then be sure on this one, if you have the same setup as me, to get +6, the level of all melee skills. And then in your other sockets, you're going to want either like dexterity or resistance or, you know, strength, whatever stats you need to hit the requirements for your companion and, you know, everything else. Now into the passive tree, the ascendancy that you'll go with is going to be Titan. You're going to want to run up here first thing and get hulking form. This is the main reason that we go with Titan. 50% increased effect of small passive skills. And for the Shockwave totems, you know, we get a lot of damage and, you know, placement speed and, you know, strength and everything else having that. So run up here to hulking form. After that, you're going to want to run over to mysterious lineage right here for 15% more maximum life. And then you get some regen right here. And then last, come over here for the extra armor. So the tree really hasn't changed too much. Right here, we're going to run down, you know, get this regen over here, run over here, get this regen. Right here, we have attack speed. Over here, we have strength. Totem stuff right here. You're going to want to run down first thing, get your extra totem down here. There's an extra totem over here. You know, get this area of effect, cooldown recovery and damage in this area. You know, they have cut the sockets down with the new season. So, you know, we have one right here. We have one right up here. Now, in this one, we have Prism of Belief. We're getting +2 to the level of all Shockwave totem skills. This goes up to +3, but the jump in price is quite a bit, so I just got the +2, and it works out just fine. I mean, and we're still hitting the level 40 overall with our totems, with our second two-hander, so this works out just fine. I would say at least try to get a +2 with your Prism of Belief, though. Up here in this one, we have a little bit of Chaos Resistance, Life Regeneration, Attack Damage, Totem Placement, Speed. You know, and the same thing you want to look for down here, Regen, you know, Damage, Totem Placement, Speed. And then over here we get Life and some Strength. Definitely want to take Resolute Technique. We never deal critical strikes, but that's fine. Shockwave Totem only has like a 5% base crit chance, but our hits can never be evaded, and that way we don't have to worry about accuracy. Up here, we're going to go ahead and take this all over here. We get Area of Effect. There's even more Area of Effect right here that I didn't get. This is damage and Area of Effect in this area. Over here, we get more Life Regen. This actually boosts our regen quite a bit. Over here, we get more Totem stuff, Totem Placement Distance, or should I say range and speed right here. You know, damage all throughout here. More damage over here and attack speed, which all attack speed goes to the totems. Damage over here. Over here, you want to get blood magic as soon as possible. Also, when you're leveling, you know, with blood magic, we use life instead of mana, which makes it a lot easier because we can get our life regen up, and then it's easy to sustain our totems. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the passive tree. I'm sure I probably missed something. If I did, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Oh yeah, and also over here, you know, we have Giant's Blood. This is what makes it to where we're able to wield the two-handed axes, maces, or swords in one hand. Now, on the bottom, you see right there, triple attribute requirements. So, you know, any strength requirement you have on your two-handed mace will be tripled. So that's why you want to get the lowest strength possible when it comes to your two-handed maces. I'm sure there's probably something I missed, so hit me up down in the comments. You know, if you have any questions or whatever. There will be gameplay right now if you want to go ahead and check that out. Hopefully this guide has been helpful. And guys, if it has, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. Anyways, thanks for watching.
You can't get rid of the exile.